Got it. I think we got it. Okay, yay. All right, so I'm gonna make sure I go live on all my other channels. So y'all, I'm multitasking for real today. So I literally got three screens in front of me. Like I wish I could show y'all each other. But I got Instagram right here, I got Facebook right here, and then I'm on YouTube live. So what I really want to talk about is how to make that 100K and also make sure that your business is set up successfully. So if y'all see me on Instagram, I know y'all usually my main focus, but I'm really going to be looking here on Facebook, or I'm sorry, on YouTube today, because I got to get my YouTube video in. So, like I said, I have three screens that I'm looking at. So if you do have a comment, I'm going to try to, kind of stop and read everybody's comment. But I really just kind of want to go through the rundown of the things that you need to make that 100K a year. For me, I'll let you guys know a little bit about me if you do not know already. More so YouTube and Facebook. I don't really show up for y'all, but my Instagram family know exactly who I am. So my name is Sierra Renice. I really am a serial entrepreneur. I do a lot of different things, but my two main focuses are my beauty brand and also coaching people to show them how to grow and scale their business as well. So I started my original brand in 2016, which is Love Kills. It's a beauty brand, and it's a journey. As always, it's a journey. And what I really learned is that you constantly have to learn as a business owner. You constantly have to grow and develop. So what I decided to do within the year of 2021, when I hit my six figures, I said, hey, I want to just really be a business resource to people and get them to understand that it's levels to this, right? It's things that you need to get done. It's things that you need to do in order for your business to really grow. So a lot of people don't know you have like three phases that you really go through as a business owner. So one of the phases, obviously, is the beginning phase. You start the business, you work in the business, you build it up, you figure out what you're going to sell, you figure out all the things that you're going to do. Then the second phase is when you're ready to start growing. So okay, now I got a couple of customers, maybe 100, maybe 200. I want to grow to a little bit more. So you grow, right? You're in that growing phase and you just do a little bit more, right? You have a little bit more exposure, and then you get to the scaling phase. So the scaling phase is when you're trying to like reach money, right? And you're trying to reach a bunch of different customers. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is freaking me out because I see myself moving three times. I see myself moving three times, but I just had to kind of put that sidebar in there. But yeah, so you have three phases when it comes to business. And I want to tell y'all, when you get to the scaling part, it doesn't stop because you're obviously going to want to continuously scale. You don't want to always just scale to six figures and then just stop, right? You maybe want to go to seven figures, you maybe want to go to eight, right? So there's a possibility for she laughing. There's a possibility for more, right? When you go through those three phases, you no longer just stop. You got to keep going. So I just wanted to kind of put that up there. So I am right now. I'm obviously in the scaling phase. I hit my six figures in the beauty brand last year, and we're actually in the process of doing a restock within the next couple of weeks. So I'm super excited. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of whew, child. Ooh, it'd be a lot, right? And for those who may not have hit their six figures or who hit whatever mark that they really wanted to make, I'm just going to give y'all some business essentials that I feel like are really important for us to know and to have. Because if you do not have these things or you're not even aware of these things, then you got to really kind of make sure you have somebody to cling to get the information from, because it's a whole lot of people out here trying to teach you how to run a business, but I can only tell you what I know, right? And I will tell you that I have degrees, I have LLCs. Okay, so I didn't been through businesses that failed. I done been through businesses that made a lot of money. I done been through businesses, that are going to start making more money. So if y'all allow me, I'm gonna be a resource. I don't stick my services in people's faces. If you need the help, if you want the help, by all means, come grab it. I'm always here. And then I believe on every platform that I have, just about everybody has my either my link tree or something, right, to contact me or get in touch with me. My biggest platform is Instagram, and that's just because that's where I show up at. But without further ado, y'all ready to get into the lesson? Because I'm ready. I'm excited. So I named the live a couple of different things. I feel like on two different platforms. I feel like Facebook, we talking about how to make $100,000, and then on YouTube, we're talking about the top four must-haves. So that's really going to be what I talk about anyway. Is the top four must-haves that's going to make you 100K. But we're gonna get into it, y'all. So I feel like I always do things in phases. I always do things in levels, right? If you guys remember, I did the Level Up Challenge, which basically was a challenge where I got you from the beginning phases of your business to, okay, now you're ready to start growing a little bit more, right? We didn't get really into the scale phase. The challenge that I'm in right now, which is the 10K challenge, they actually are trying to scale, right? They're trying to learn a little bit deeper into marketing. But the Level Up Challenge, we leveled up. Basically, we got them from the bottom to like the, all right, we ready to grow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of touch on every single phase. Maybe not as in depth for the scale phase because I know some people aren't there yet and they're really just trying to do the bare minimum and grow. But I want to make sure that you guys have these must haves. And then I'm gonna let you guys know what I got for y'all at the very, very end. My Instagram people already know, I've already announced it, but this is just for YouTube as well. Um, I got some good for y'all. So the very first thing that I feel like when you very first think about, okay, I want to start a business, what is the first thing to do? So a lot of people ask me this here, what are the top things that you would tell a new entrepreneur? So I would tell them, no lie, to figure out what industry they're trying to go into. And if they already know what industry they're trying to go into, you need to do the research. I feel like so many businesses are either failing or they don't ever start or they don't ever, push through maybe like the first 2, 3 months because they didn't do the proper research. And I feel like it's only because, especially now, and I'm not gonna shade nobody business because I don't do that. But a lot of businesses were open throughout the pandemic, right? And kudos to everybody that had opened up a business in the pandemic. That is great, right? Because you know that you can actually create something and you can be successful at it. But you didn't do the things properly that you should have done. So say for instance, if I started my beauty brand right in the middle of the pandemic, granted, in the middle of the pandemic, beauty brands were already like a thing. Like the beauty industry alone is a high industry where you constantly, right, make money. But if you're not doing the proper research and seeing, okay, I'm gonna put out this, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna make that, I'm gonna make that. And this is what I tell a lot of my clients is don't just, put stuff out there. Don't get inventory and sell it when no one's asking for it. Oh, somebody's calling me. Oh, somebody that messed up the live on Face or on Instagram. I hope they can hear me because they done messed up the live. So I gotta see if the Instagram people can hear me, but I'm gonna keep going for here. If I gotta restart it for Instagram, I will. But I feel like they can't hear me because usually when people call me on my phone, it'll knock it off. But I believe I put my phone on do not disturb, but clearly I didn't. um, so yeah. Anyway, I feel like a very important thing that you must do when it comes to starting a business is making sure that your business is actually, the industry that you're going in is going to make you money, right? And you need to really research the industry and figure out. See, I knew they couldn't hear me. All right, hold on, y'all. We gonna make a pause. We're gonna make a pause and let me go. Hold on, y'all. This is I don't like this. Cause why? And I did put this one on do not disturb. So this person is just harassing me. So sad. Okay. All right, I'm gonna make this quick, y'all. The malfunctions of a business owner. Okay. All right, we're gonna start back up with Instagram because somebody called me and they knocked my sound out. I literally hate that. I don't know if it's the new update or if it's just what Apple decided to do with Instagram, but I used to get calls all the time and you could just swipe it up and people wouldn't disrupt it. But matter of fact, let me actually send this to the people that were on here um so that they can come back. I know my come on. I know my All right, I tried to send it to everybody that was just in here. I see Chantel already on here, but I know my YouTube people probably like, girl, go back to what you was talking about. So the very first thing that I feel like is really, really important is to do the research, and this is a step that most people skip because they want to just kind of jump into the business world. They want to say, I got a business, and there's nothing wrong with it because it's a great accomplishment to have a business, to start a business, right? But it's an even greater accomplishment when you actually have a successful business. So I feel like that is a step that people mess up and they don't really take time on. So I'm gonna give y'all some of the things that I feel like you should research in your business industry or whatever business you want to start. So first things first, I feel like you need to see if that business is actually that industry is actually making money. because I know for a fact I don't want to get in the industry where I'm going to sell something, right? And the products are not going to even matter or exist within the next 3 to 5 years, right? So be realistic. And if you think about it, technology is coming and coming and coming, right? It's growing so much. So don't think about, like, I know, for instance, like, I'll just throw out a regular job. So when we used to go and get a job, say for instance, if somebody wanted to be a bookkeeper, it would not make sense for you to start a bookkeeping business. Now, you can definitely tweak some things, right? But it wouldn't make sense for you to have an actual location, a storefront, and you have people come right to you so you can do their bookkeeping services, because it's 2022. There's literally apps that people can upload their documents, upload their receipts, right? There's so many things. So the way to really twist that is to obviously create an app that you're bookkeeping for people, because it wouldn't make sense for you to have a storefront for one in one location, right, in somebody's small town. No shade, but I'm just telling you what would be smart. But I would rather you open up start an app, right, and charge people subscription fees for using your services and have everything built up in the app. It's 2022. Like, that's why I'm like, you got to make sure that the industry that you're going to go into, that it makes sense. Even me, when I was in probably it wasn't my last job, but it was probably 2 jobs ago. I was a car dealership. I did 2 different positions in the dealership. So I did the original selling cars, and then I was the operations. So that's really where I get most of my business stuff from, because I've learned a lot, just being a car sales woman and the operations manager. But basically, what I realized was nowadays, and y'all can attest to this, I want to say probably around the same time that I was working there, Carvana came out, CarMax, you getting your car delivered to. There's no reason for a car salesman or a woman, because everything's on the computer. You can literally order a car online, y'all. You do not need an actual physical person to tell you your rates or any. It's all online. Granted, is it the greatest approach? That's that's my opinion. I don't believe it is, but I feel like it's happening, right? Do you have any app development referrals? So when you mean, hold on, let me actually click on that. Okay, I got 2 questions. All right. So do you have any app development referrals? So app development as far as like how to build an app, I don't know. I am not the techie girl. I can do the bare minimum on a computer. I can type real fast, but as far as developing an app, I don't know. And then we got a question right here. So if you don't have a storefront yet, can you list your home for a building for business for insurance purposes? So I'm actually going to touch onto that. So I'm glad you did ask that question. So for me, I feel like using your residential home for a business, right? Whether you're just starting or not, if you cannot afford an actual address or a location, and nowadays it's 2022, they have virtual addresses. You need to either get one from I think it's Regis. There's a whole bunch of different ones. Just literally Google virtual addresses, because what's gonna happen is, and I'm not even sure as far as the business insurance wise, you don't ever want to make your residence your business address, because when you try to go get funding, when you try to go get, really, they don't really do too much as far as getting a bank account. But when you try to more so get funding and you get investors and they go running your search, like, when you go to file, or you go to open up a business bank account and get funding or get a loan, they'll literally reject you off the simple fact that when they go to run your address that you provided them, and it's a residential address, they literally will deny you. So I don't recommend starting a business with a home address. So I encourage people, go ahead, cash out that $50, $100 a month for the virtual address. If you want an actual location, since you're just going to go all out and get an address anyway, to find a little suite. They have literally co-working spaces now where you can just like literally go whenever you want to work in that. And sometimes you don't even have to go, but you have the address, right? So it's way cheaper than actually paying rent for a building. But that is a really good question. So I feel like I'm not sure as far as insurance purposes, because I've always had a legitimate business address, at least from when I very first, became serious about it. But I don't know, because with my business insurance, they didn't really stress about the actual address. I just know that from funding. That was a good question though. Can you list those virtual addresses? So honestly, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I know Regis is one. Regis is Regus. And then I'm trying to think it's another one. If you go to Google, you literally can just type in virtual addresses and they'll pop up, and you can literally find addresses less close to your neighborhood or close to where you live at. My actual virtual address that I do have is about an hour and a half away, which means I really don't ever go there because why do I need to drive? But you can get mail sent there. You can have a phone service pick up and basically say, hey, this is such and such, how can I help you? And they'll deliver the message and, kind of just tap you into the call. So yeah, there's so many things that you can really use nowadays to grow your business and make sure that your business is set up. Because granted, I ain't had no business back in the day, but even from watching my mom, if you needed a little office, like that was rental space. You had to pay that per month, right? And that's the same thing with the virtual addresses. You got to do it per month, but give or take, you might be spending $40 to $100 depending on the location. The location always has a lot to do with the price, because if it's in a nice, community in the office, it's going to cost a little bit more. But if it's something small and basic, you might get a $45, $50 rate. But yeah, definitely check out those virtual addresses because they are a saver. And when it's time for you to start getting funding, you can get approved because when they go to run it through, their database and it says, okay, her address is such and such, then they know that's an actual business address and not a residential. I actually learned that last year. So when it comes to the market research, right? What I want y'all to do is to make sure that your business industry is going to actually make money within the next few years, and you can literally Google it. I feel like it is. You can either search something like, how can I say, like income within the next 5 years for the beauty industry, like something like that, where you're basically highlighting what industry you're in and then how much money are they going to start making. So I know in the beauty industry alone, I can't even look it up because I got all my devices up. But I know the beauty industry is booming and it always will because people like to make themselves feel good and look good, right? My business insurance allowed me to use my home address initially. Yeah, and I feel like they didn't give me no discrepancy when I did mine because I did mine when I very first started as well. And I had my actual family's home address back then, and then I ended up changing everything over. But I feel like to save the headache, if you just starting out, literally just get a virtual address or get a co-working space or get an actual storefront so you don't have to worry about it. 'Cause especially when you go with the state and you file your EIN and you file your LLC or your S corp to go change all of that. And nowadays, especially during tax time, it's the worst time to literally get in contact with the IRS, y'all, because they won't pick up the phone. Like whether it's business, whether it's taxes, they won't answer the phone. So to save yourself the headache, just make sure you get a virtual address or an actual, space where you can have that address registered to your business. So that market research, make sure your industry is going to actually grow, right, within the next 3 to 5 years. Then second, I recommend you to see what customers do your industry sell to. So a lot of people don't realize that your target audience makes so much sense to worry about and to care about because these are going to be the people you deal with on a daily, right? Whether you do become that big founder and you do become the higher up, you don't speak that much to the customers, but think about who you really want to sell to. Like I feel like a lot of people go into creating a business and wanting to sell product and wanting to sell services and don't know who they're selling to. And I feel like it doesn't make sense to me because who do you want to provide a solution for, right? Who do you want to help? And if you're not even considering that type of question when you're opening up a business, then don't. And no shade, no harm, no foul. You already know. I don't be trying to shame nobody or, shade nobody, but do not start a business if you don't care to deal with people. Like you literally need to make sure you're helping someone and you're benefiting someone because it just won't make sense. Like how are you trying to build a business and you don't want to deal with people? Like granted, me when I very first started, I did not want to deal with customers. I did not, but I had to say, listen, girl, you want people to buy into you. You got to want to cater to them and do the things that they need you to do as a founder and a CEO. So make sure you actually figure out, okay, who is it that you are trying to sell to because you don't want to not have that person because I'm gonna tell you 9 times out of 10 when you don't know who your exact target audience is, you're going to not make sales. Like I'm gonna be honest with you because when you go post on social media, when you go to events, when you go to try to sell to all these different people, nobody's going to come when you need them to come, right? Because you don't have a set person that you actually target. So when it comes to marketing, if anyone on here on any of these platforms struggle with marketing, it's because probably you don't know who you're really selling to. And when I talk target audience, I'm not just talking, oh, I sell to women, I sell to men, oh, I sell from ages to 25 to 40. It's deeper than that, y'all. The gender and the age of your customer is just the icing on the cake, right? You gotta make the whole entire cake, y'all. Y'all gotta actually build the whole entire cake. Put the mix, put the all of that. You gotta actually make the cake, right? And ooh, I just made a reference for Sweet Bakes Couture. She definitely be chefing it up and baking it. So that was funny. I didn't even realize that I did that. But yeah, having the gender and the age of your target audience is just one little small ingredient to making that cake. So I feel like people need to really make sure they're doing the research and they're actually paying attention to, who they want to sell to. And if you don't know who you want to sell to, number one thing that I tell people who do not know who they want their target audience to be is to figure out who you don't want to sell to. So for me, one of the people that I do not want to sell to, and it's no reasons, right? No personal reasons as to why I don't want to do it. But when it comes to my beauty brand, I don't care to sell to younger girls, right? Granted, I speak to younger girls all the time, but I don't want younger girls. Realistically, they're not going to be able to afford my prices. So 14 to 16 years old, maybe the 16-year-old because she just got a job, but realistically, she can't pay for the things that I'm going to offer. So I know in my mind, I'm not even about to try to market and target that customer, right? I need people who are a little bit more older. I got a question over here. Do you think marketing content like video content Q&A of the location where customers are is good to help your business? So let me read that again. Do you think marketing content like video content Q&A of the location where customers are? So what I think you're trying to say is it good for video content and like doing Q&A? So for me, I always think video content is better. I literally got three screens at me right now. So obviously the video content is better because for one, people can see the personal, the personality of the actual business owner. And I think always doing Q&As are amazing because people get to know, about your business, about your location, about what you do, about why you do it. So I think video content is literally the top content that is happening right now on social media alone. And if you think about it, every single social media platform has a form of video content. So LinkedIn, Twitter. Twitter actually doesn't anymore. They used to, well, you can still upload videos on there, but Twitter used to have, I don't think Twitter ever actually had live, but you can obviously upload videos. But now Twitter actually has audio spaces, right? And that's still kind of the same thing. You just don't see the face. Same thing with Clubhouse, but Facebook Live, YouTube, like videos are definitely TikTok. Face or video content is definitely booming, and I feel like it's a great marketing tactic to use so people can actually get a feel of who you are as a business owner and what your business is. That was a good question. Y'all come with the questions on Instagram. The people on YouTube, they listen and they listening. All right. So the next thing after the market research, I feel like it is super, super important to make sure all your business is legitimate. So when it comes to business setup, paperwork, people always seem to mess something up, right? So everybody is always on Instagram praising, get an LLC, get an LLC, get an LLC. Y'all, and we kind of early briefly talked about this. It's so much more to do than just get an LLC. That's the one ingredient, right? People always stress you and tell you need an LLC, but there's things that you need prior to getting an LLC. You literally need to make sure, for one, right, that EIN number is set up. And then you need to make sure, really, before the EIN, I'm not even gonna lie, you need a business address before you even think about registering that business. Because, like I said, trying to talk to the IRS and talk to your state department and get them to change your address is stressful. Just start with an address, y'all. There's virtual addresses, there's co-working spaces. So a lot of people are like, oh, get an LLC, get an LLC. But you get an LLC and then you register the LLC to your home address without having a business address, and now you're backwards. Make it make sense, right? You have to make sure that your business is set up in the right forms and in the right ways, because if not, you're gonna end up backtracking. And I'm the one to tell you, I've backtracked plenty of times, right? I started my business in 2016. The information that's out here in the streets now are not there, were not there back then, right? They would tell you the basics even in college. Like even when I started my business, I was in my first year of college, so I didn't even really learn the business stuff until like my third year. So I started with a blind eye. And this is why I tell y'all I'm trying to be that business resource to y'all, but do not just worry about getting an LLC, right? We got to make sure for one, we're going to do that market research. We're going to make sure our business industry is actually going to make us some money, right? We're going to actually figure out who we're going to sell to. And then we're going to start doing the paperwork. So we're going to make the business address. We're going to get our email account set up. We're going to get our LLCs, right? We're going to register your EIN. That's actually before the LLC. And then you get your LLC. Once you're done getting your LLC, the very first thing you need to do immediately, like immediately, you need to make sure that you get a business bank account, because any money that you make should not, or let me step back. Any money that you make in your business should not be going into your personal bank account, right? It should not, because it's not personal. This is business. And this is where a lot of us never see profit in the first 2 to 3 years of operating in business, because every time you go do an event, or every time you get a sale, or every time it's going deposited right into your personal account. What happens when money goes into your personal account? You spend it for your personal life. So you need to make sure that you have a business bank account. My very first bank account, I feel like a lot of people should do this as well, especially because they're coming up a little bit more and they do really, really good with funding. Make sure you have a credit union. I'm gonna tell you, the credit union is going to waive a lot of stuff. They're gonna give you a lot of funding. They're gonna make sure you good, right? Because if you think about credit unions are small. They're usually local, right? They're usually only a couple of them in the state, or in a couple of different states spread around. They're small, just like we're small. So if you're gonna open up a business bank account, go small. That's just my honest opinion. I always did a credit union. I'm actually at a credit union right now. The top credit unions that may be around is American Heritage, Navy Federal, Fulton Bank is a good one. That's where I actually started off when I opened up my store last year. So yeah, there's a lot of different credit unions. Obviously, depending on where you're at, some of them are not available in your state or city. But just look around for credit unions. They're literally the easiest ones to get into, and they'll also help you grow. And their funding is A1. Rather than some big. I don't even recommend Wells Fargo, so I ain't even going to talk about the ones. I ain't even going to talk about the ones I don't recommend. But yeah, make sure you got that business bank account. So then even after your LLC, your business bank account, all of that good stuff, that address, make sure you have your actual licenses and permits. So some states require a little bit more than other. I know in the state of Pennsylvania, we don't really require a actual operating business license unless you're in a specific industry. But there is in the city of Philadelphia a commercial activity license. So if you want to actually just legally operate your business, you need to make sure you get a commercial activity license. I'm studying other states, so some of them, obviously I don't know a lot about, but when it comes to licensing, just look at your state, your Department of Revenue in your state, and they'll basically give you like a little checklist to see, okay, what licenses or permits you need. For a fact, in PA, you need a seller's permit. So if you want to collect tax on your products, you need to make sure that you have that sales tax permit. If you are collecting tax and you don't have a sales tax permit, you're going to go to jail. I love y'all, but you're going to go to jail. They find out, because that means you're collecting tax and you're not paying taxes, right? So, we're not about to have a whole history lesson up in here, but I'm just letting y'all know the basics, right? So now the next thing that I feel like that is really, really important when it comes to making sure your business is successful, it's actually the planning phase of your business. So a lot of times we miss out, and we don't realize that we need these plans into place, right? Because the only way that your business is going to operate and be successful is if you have these plans into place. And I'm not talking about, oh, I'm a plan to order my inventory this day, I'm a plan to post this day, right? It's deeper than that. We got to go professional, right? We got to go, if we want funding in the long term, in the long run, we got to actually dish out some type of plans, right? And when I mean plans, I mean first things first, you need to have a business plan. If you do not have, and it doesn't have to be long, because some business plans are very, very long, especially if it's your first year and you feel like, Sarah, why do I need a business plan? Because you need to have a plan on where your business is going to go, right? If you don't have that plan of where your business is going to go, it's not going to go nowhere, right? And even if you think you're going to go get funding and you're going to get an investor, or you're going to go get, somebody to sponsor you, they gonna want to see, okay, how am I gonna get this money back? Because you asking for somebody for $20,000, $50,000, they gonna want to actually see some type of blueprint of how you're gonna get it done and what you stand for. Because you sitting here telling me and having a conversation with me is only gonna do but so much. I might not even have the time to have a conversation with you, right? And most of the times when it goes through the funding process, you literally go apply right for the loan, and then you have to bring in your business plan. So just for references, for people who do not have one, start getting one. I actually do not write business plans. It's a lot of work. But I actually review them. So if you wanted to create your own, and they're not as hard like that people make them seem. It's just time consuming. Like it takes you a lot of time to do it, and if you don't dedicate time to do it, then it's not going to get done. But definitely make sure you have a business plan. Next plan that I feel like is really important is a marketing plan. So how are you going to actually get your customers to come, right? How are you going to get them to realize who you are? When it comes to the world of business, marketing is literally everything. Like it's everything and it's not just one thing. I need people to understand marketing is not just posting on social media. Marketing is not just going live, right? There's different things that you need to do so that your marketing is top tier, because if not, obviously you're not gonna do so good. And a lot of people, this is where a lot of people fall short, and they don't really, get their money that they are achieving, because they don't actually have a plan on how they're gonna market their business, where they're gonna market, who they're gonna market to, right? A marketing plan really entails a bunch of different things, but it's more so customer based and how you're gonna get them to come, right? And how you're gonna get them to become more aware of you. So make sure you guys have that marketing plan. If you ain't got it on none of these screens, get it now, right? Get it done. And that can be a long, lengthy plan as well, but it doesn't necessarily have to. I actually have a template where it's about maybe 3 to 4 pages. It's not long, but it's super simple. And it's just the basics for you to understand how to really market your business. And I always recommend people, when it comes to marketing plans, to have them for about 3 to 6 months, only because you want to always review and analyze and see what worked and what didn't. So then when it's time to go do the renewal, you'll say, okay, this worked, that didn't, that didn't. So you know not to put it back on there, right? And try some new things. There's a lot of different marketing tactics and channels that you can use. It's all about what fits best for your business. Another plan that I feel like you guys should really have is your strategic plan. So that's really your strategy on how you're going to be better than the next. So what makes your business different from the next, right? What are you doing that your competitors are not, or what could you really offer that your competitors are not doing, right? So that strategy, trying to figure out how you're going to be different and unique from the next. And then the last thing that I really tell people as far as planning is making sure that you have goals set for your business. If you don't have goals set for your business, then your business is going to stay in the same spot and it's not going to go nowhere, right? You got to make sure that you're actually setting goals and deadlines. Because if you're a person like me, when I very first started and I was not disciplined and dedicated at all, and I didn't set goals, I didn't even set sales goals, y'all. Like I literally did, I just was doing business as is. And when I made money, I made money. But we can't think like that, right? We have to actually set things up into play for us to bring the money in. So if I'm writing a marketing plan and I'm writing a business plan and I don't have any goals set, even though in both of those plans you actually have to highlight your goals, but you need to make sure that you have some type of goal set and a deadline so that you're working toward it. Because if not, like I said, if you don't have a goal, you're not working toward anything, and it's pointless, right? So definitely make sure that you guys set goals in your business, which I'm sure most of y'all do. But even if you got to go a little bit deeper and figure out, because I know a lot of people, when it comes to setting goals, some people will be like, oh, I set a goal to make my 6 figures at the end of 2022. And it's like, okay, but like, how you gonna do that, right? Because you got to actually break that down. You can't have that big old goal towards the end of the year, and you're not working towards it until what, maybe the last 3 months, and now you kind of like, I'm not gonna make it, right? Because you didn't even prepare. So make sure you actually go into detail with your goals and figure out how you're going to achieve it. Especially when you have those long term big goals. Tongue tied all the way. And then the last thing that I feel like that's really, really important for y'all to do is to make sure whatever you set for yourself to do, so getting that business plan, getting that marketing plan, setting those goals, making sure your paperwork is okay, is actually doing the work. A lot of us fail to realize we need to do the work behind everything we set up. So I actually had to reality check myself a couple of weeks ago and say, Sarah, you do all this planning. And it's because I'm a natural planner. I'm not going to lie. My very first, well, my second business that I started after Love Kills was I was an event planner. I was Sincere Creations. And I love to plan parties. I did 2 weddings. And then other ones were just like baby showers, small gatherings and stuff like that. But I'm a planner, so it's in me naturally to just plan. So y'all, when I tell y'all, I literally was planning so much stuff the last couple of weeks, and I wasn't executing. So my biggest advice to y'all is not only when you get all these things in order with your business, right? Your paperwork, your research, you have those plans in place, but you gotta actually execute. So you can type up a business plan, you can get your marketing plan created, you can do all these things, you can plan everything out, you can set these goals. But if you don't work towards them, it's not gonna happen. You literally have to make sure you are actually doing the work. And this is where a lot of us fall short of, because we're like, oh, I want to make six figures, oh, I want to do this, oh, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do. It's a bunch of right? And no real action. So make sure that you guys are executing your goals, being consistent, right? Showing up, making sure that you're doing the things that you set out to do, because that's the only way that things are going to actually work and how your business is going to be successful. So that's what I got for y'all. A good old 30 something minutes. I'm gonna post this on all my platforms because I'm gonna make sure it just saves. Obviously, the goal was to be live on YouTube, but I just want to let y'all know. I do have a checklist. So for anyone who stayed towards the end, I do have a business boot camp that I'm actively doing right now. So the first step of the boot camp is to get the basic training, which is the checklist to see if your business is actually set up. So I kind of went through some of the things today that you need for your business, but there's a whole list of things. So there's a checklist that you can literally go check off and say, all right, I did this, all right, I did that. And anything that's not checked off and you need to work on, or you need to get a little bit more knowledge about it, you can literally take the next steps in the boot camp and get the actual intense training, which is going to basically unload everything that needs to get done in that checklist. So it's a whole entire ebook. I don't even remember how many pages it is. I created it a while ago. Um, but you need to actually go get that training, that intense training, the ebook, if you do not have everything checked off on that list. So make sure y'all go grab it on YouTube. I'm gonna drop the link in the description box below. Y'all already know on Instagram and on Facebook is in the link in my link tree. Make sure y'all get them, because we gotta make sure that our business is set up properly and that we are doing the things that we are supposed to do, so we can have a successful business, right? So I hope y'all enjoyed this live. I'm gonna tap back in with Instagram later on. And if y'all have any questions, especially on YouTube, just drop them in the comments. If it's something that y'all want me to do in particular, as far as a certain topic, just make sure y'all leave a comment below. Instagram, y'all know y'all just DM me. Facebook, y'all know y'all just message me, so that I can, touch on things that you may want me to talk about. So that is all I got for y'all for today. I will see y'all later. Peace out. I gotta end literally 3 screens, so give me some time.